100 pounds of mail. We closed the station to any operations, kind of call a holiday for 2 days. The first letter that he opened was divorce papers from his wife. And that wouldn't be bad enough, but then she included a picture of a brand new Oldsmobile 442, which she had raided his pension fund and purchased the car with it, and wanted to kind of rub his nose in it by sending him a brochure on it.
Sports Illustrated because of your
Yes,
snowball
yes,
or
we
your
did.
pole ball, right?
And because that was during the summertime, we actually sent the information out with one of the flights, and they got it in their January 12th, 1987 issue, which is, we appreciate it. We didn't get to see it until long after we got off the ice. The Sugar Bowl and the various football bowls. And we wanted to establish a new bowl, and that was the Pole Bowl. So we took the summer crew, which departs in the middle of February, and the winter crew, which stays on throughout the winter, and have a football game. And this was somewhat unique because the temperatures were extreme for a football game. It was about 30 below zero, and with wind chill probably 45 below zero. We kept it down to 10-minute quarters, and we had a great time. A couple people were injured just from landing on the hard surface.
Got back.
Yeah, when I got back, Dick Youngblood with Star Tribune was doing a series of articles on unusual ways that people make a living, and he came out to the house and talked to me about Antarctica and wrote up a very nice article. Most people don't even know where Antarctica is because it doesn't appear on most.
It's down there.
Yes. Well, a lot of people say, well, what was it like up there? I mean, they don't know.
You get that?
Oh, all the time, all the time. Adults, not just kids.
You say you were on the South Pole. What was it like up there?
Yes.
If you say South Pole?
Yes, I said South Pole, yeah.
And they say what was it like up there?
Yeah.
Well, not that
People
south
don't
is
really
down
have
or
a
up,
clue
but-
even about the North Pole or the South Pole.
Well, why should they?
Yeah,
They pick up their kids in 20
it's
minutes
not
from
like
soccer practice.
It's not like they can go there. It's not like they can take a vacation.
What do you
there.
think the difference is between people who say, "Oh, I got to go to soccer, I got to pick up my kids from soccer practice," and they're focused on just the here and the now and what they have going on in their life?
They
right
might
here and-
watch a special on Channel 2 or something that says, "Here's a station in the South Pole," and they might look at it and say, "Well, where are the animals? I don't see any animals. Where are the penguins?"
Penguins.
Well, they aren't at the South Pole. They're in Antarctica on the
Oh,
coast.
okay, sure, yeah.
But they're none at the South Pole. There's no insects. There's no animals. There's no birds. There's no viruses. There's no bacteria. I mean, there's nothing there.
Well, do you feel psychologically different when you returned?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think everybody did.
Huh.
You
Like
are
what way?
well. You're totally deprived of color, vegetation.
All right.
There's no smell of vegetation, and you don't think it's a big deal until it's completely taken away. There's no children there. There's no sounds of cars, trains, airplanes.
So what did that do to you?
It just it makes you more sensitive to it. We didn't know this until we got in the plane and we're flying from McMurdo, the coastal station, back to New Zealand. And they fly a fairly high altitude, and then as they were descending, they depressurized when they got down to about 8,000 or 9,000 feet. And we were all pretty tired because it's a long trip. I mean, it's hours and hours and hours. And as soon as they depressurized, everybody woke up because you could smell. You could smell the ocean. You could smell the trees. You could smell the grass, lawn. And what typically a lot of people do when they come back from the South Pole is New Zealand has beautiful public gardens. And people would just go to the gardens and kind of sit there and just look around and look at the people. And because you've only seen the same people for an entire year.
Do you get sick of them?
A little bit, because you tell the same jokes, you tell the same stories, you know everything about this guy's girlfriend, you know everything about this guy's parents, you know everything about this guy's dog. And somebody will say, "Hey, you want to hear a joke?" "Yeah, we've heard that 5 times. We're pretty sick of it. We don't want to hear it." And so we had, I mean, I'm not to say it wasn't uncomfortable. It was pretty comfortable, really.
And it was a year you were down there?
A year. Well, a little bit more than a year, but pretty close to that, yeah.
So you really liked it down there?
Yeah, I really did. I mean, I had a number of job offers when I got back. The most interesting one was to work at a an island in the South Pacific which had been used as a radioactive bomb target. After the atomic bomb was, what they did was they took an island, they evacuated all the native personnel, resituated them at a different island, and then they used it for a target. And the whole idea was, the agreement was, we will come in at some point and we'll cut away the contaminated earth and put this back in its original condition and then give it back to you and resituate you. And so my job was to come in and work with all these people. They had about 500 workers from different countries, Pakistan, India, cheap labor they were bringing in. And the deal was that I could get 3 trips a year to anywhere in the world I wanted to for vacation. But it's not, you didn't have your family with you. You'd basically be there for 3 or 4 years.
That was just too much, huh?
Yeah, that was too much, but it was really attractive. They had a beautiful house there for me and a sailboat that I could use the whole time I was there. It was awesome.
God.
Now, most of these jobs,
stay single.
and so this was given to me. It's signed by all the crew members. I felt that it was kind of selfish that only the manager would get a flag, so I bought 16 more flags and gave one to each of the crew.
Wow, this thing is tattered.
Yeah, it's pretty. There's a lot of wind, and it stays up there for an entire year. So, you've seen those big flags flying around Perkins.
Yeah.
Well, their flags don't last an entire year. So this was a lot bigger when it started out.
Huh.
But it's a real treasure.
Wow.
To still have it.
Well, I may never have another guest on that has been as well traveled and well adventured as you. And if I do, I'll let you know that you've been topped, and I'll be excited because I will have on one heck of a guest who will have a lot of other stories to talk about. But thank you for sharing this with me and with anyone at home who listened or anyone on the internet who was able to check out my blog and check out this this testimony. So thank you very much for being on the show.
My pleasure.
Yeah. And thank you very much for listening at home or on the internet. Please email me or check out my blog with any suggestions that you might have. Thank you very much, and we'll see you later. Bye.